Nothing captures the imagination quite like the depths of the ocean. It is impossible to resist the unearthly ecological beauty contained within, just as it is impossible to ignore the primal fear of what could be lurking deep beneath you. And no work captures this duality quite like Subnautica. These worlds are some of the best works of speculative biology and ecology ever created, and perfectly balance the feelings of wonder and terror. I am currently in a master's program in biology, and to celebrate Subnautica 2 being released into early access, today I want to explore the biology of its flagship Leviathan. The collector Leviathan is clearly inspired by members of the class Cephalopodia, which includes octopus, squid, cuttlefish, and nautiluses. And members of this group have some of the most insane combinations of adaptations and abilities found on the planet, which I'm sure will translate into the collector being one of the most memorable threats we encounter in the series. We will also be comparing this creature to the recently discovered fossil of a real, extinct Leviathan-sized cephalopod species from the Cretaceous period to determine if this terrifying yet beautiful life form could really exist. As a disclaimer, I am making this video prior to the game's release, so it will contain no spoilers beyond the trailers and dev blogs already available, but may become slightly outdated as the game is updated. So, let's get started. The collector's biology contains a combination of interesting traits taken from various cephalopod species, as well as some completely unique features which highlight its alien nature. It has the characteristically arrow-shaped head of a squid, lined with several prominent siphons, hinting at its method of locomotion. Squid move by drawing water into the cavity under their mantle, which is the outermost layer of tissue on their head, then rapidly pushing it through their siphon to propel themselves at extremely high speeds. The collector lacks this typical opening under its mantle, but instead has additional siphons, implying that one set is in-current, sucking water in, while the other set is out-current, expelling water so that the creature can move. Moving higher up on the head, we can observe two massive pairs of fins, which are used to steer and stabilize the creature when it moves. But much more interesting is the apex of the creature's head, which splits open to reveal a massive bioluminescent structure, which pulses and shifts with various shades of light. There are a number of beautiful bioluminescent squid species, one example being the firefly squid, but the way these colors move and shift between shades also seems to take inspiration from the color-changing chromatophores of a cuttlefish, which can be rapidly shifted in a synchronized pattern to hypnotize prey. The fact that this bioluminescent color-changing ability is localized to a specific internal organ which is revealed by the head splitting open makes me feel like this is going to be linked to a specific hunting ability. And the idea of a Leviathan with hypnotic abilities like the Mesmer in the original Subnautica is terrifying. Some other possibilities are perhaps an electrical impulse akin to the crab squid, or even some form of telepathy like the Sea Emperor. You might think this glowing core is the creature's brain, but cephalopods actually have an extremely unique body plan, with most of their internal organs, like their digestive tract and heart, higher in their head than their brain is, which is located where the tentacles and arms meet the bottom of the head. In this region, here. To enable this unusual body plan, cephalopod brains are uniquely circular, forming a ring shape around the digestive tract. Despite this unusual brain shape, cephalopods are by far the most intelligent invertebrates on the planet, with the ability to solve complex problems and even use tools, and the collector is certainly going to reflect this. This Leviathan has by far the most complicated behavioral scripting out of any creature in the series. It is constantly re-evaluating based on the player's actions, and will even follow you outside of its set territories, meaning that nowhere is safe. Moving to its eyes, we can see that it has the characteristic rectangular pupils of an octopus and cuttlefish, in contrast to the round pupils of a squid, which are adapted for low light. These unique pupils provide a wider cone of vision, but are also thought to produce chromatic aberration to gain the ability to see in color despite only having one type of photoreceptor. What this means in game is that flares will probably be your best friend for distracting this Leviathan long enough to escape, so make sure you stock up before any excursion. 4 long, muscular tentacles sprout from its body, in addition to 10 shorter ones closer to its mouth, which hide a sharp chitinous beak known as a rostrum, used to break open hard-shelled prey, or the exterior of an Altera vehicle to reach the unlucky pilot within. Cephalopod limbs can be classified as arms or tentacles, with arms having suction cups lining their entire length, compared to tentacles which are typically longer hunting appendages with suction cups and hooks only at their most distal points. These tentacles are used to grasp prey and pull their victims towards their arms, which wrap and immobilize them before delivering a deadly bite with their beaks. Squids and cuttlefish both have 8 arms and 2 tentacles each, while octopuses have 8 arms and no tentacles. The collector doesn't seem to have any suction cups to speak of, but 2 of its long appendages are tipped with 3 hard, grasping digits which come together into a point, while the other 2 split off into coiling, finger-like structures for catching unprotected victims, making it clear these 4 limbs are akin to the hunting tentacles used to capture prey at distances, whereas the 10 shorter appendages near the head are used more like arms once you've been pulled in close. Because coordinating 8 arms at once to perform complex tasks is so difficult, octopuses have 8 of what are essentially mini-brains independent from the main brain, which can control their respective arms, allowing them to explore, move, and perform tasks by itself, but can also work in tandem with other arms when taken control of by the main brain. Think of it kind of like how you switch your breathing from automatic to manual depending on the needs of the situation. Up to 2/3 of an octopus's roughly 500 million neurons are located within its arms. And this is bad news for us because it means that the collector will be able to independently attack up to 4 players at once. So if you think you're safe when it goes after one of your friends, think again. A many-limbed creature as massive as this Leviathan would certainly need a distributed nervous system to control all of its appendages at once. Although this is far more important for the collector's 4 primary tentacles than it would be for its many small grasping arms. And this brings us to our last topic. Could this Leviathan actually exist? You might think a creature like this would never actually be able to grow so large, but honestly, based on what we can observe here on Earth, it might not be too much of a stretch. Alongside all of their incredible abilities which I already mentioned, cephalopods also hold the title for largest invertebrate, both currently alive through the giant and colossal squid, and in the entire history of the Earth, with the recently discovered fossil of the species, Nxviss haggardi, nicknamed the Cretaceous kraken. Because they don't have any bones, the only part of a cephalopod that can fossilize is its beak, but generally beak size does correlate with overall body size, and the massive fossil of N. haggardi indicates that it would be truly gargantuan, up to 19 meters or 62 feet long, more than double the size of the already massive giant squid, and giving the mosasaurus of the time a run for their money. While this is still not nearly as large as the collector, which I have estimated to be about 2 to 3 times larger using the diver included in the image for scale, it does show that the body plan of a cephalopod can be scaled up significantly under the right conditions, and implies that something like the collector could absolutely exist on another planet, with the right conditions, albeit maybe scaled down just a bit. We will surely learn even more about the collector now that the game is releasing, and I'm just as excited as you are to dive into this alien world. Thanks for watching. I truly love this series, and if this video does well, I'll definitely continue making content like this on other Leviathans in Subnautica. So, if you enjoyed it and don't want to miss that, please leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I hope to see you next time.